Hi Leticia, it's Saturday the 12th. I've done, I think, quite a bit today. One of the things I did do was drench holes that I got gophers from, at least 3 of them, with water. So I did turn off the irrigation here. If I don't come on Monday, can you please turn that on? Because I ran the hose for about 15 minutes. So I did it here and I believe over here, and then 2 spots on that side. I think I'll turn that side off too, so that would be good. I just don't want to overwater the plants. I already gave everything a top water. So I did plant a few things in this area as we discussed through text messaging. In the second or third row in, I put in mung bean in between of all of this. Hopefully it provides shade for the tomatoes over the summer, and maybe we'll get some tomatoes. So there, mung bean. And then in this row here I put black-eyed peas, and that gets pretty large. So again, the shadow from that on that side, when on the left, when the sun sets, hopefully we get some tomatoes throughout the season along with the shade cloth. And then I did see double of some of the soybeans, so I took some of them out, maybe 2 good ones, and I put them on that side because I didn't get good germination. Oh, going back to this side here, I did thin out the sunflowers. That's actually how you would go about doing it. I think it needs to be even further apart, but this is a good start, so you can see just their growth and how they will do so much better being spaced out like that. And then coming back this way, in this row here, I put a bush bean, gold rush. So they're actually yellow beans, but I think when you cook them up, they turn green. I'm not too sure, but that's going to be very nice to have. That also will create a bit of a shadow. Hopefully it's okay with all the flowers you've planted here, but we can always take those out as we go along. And then in this row I had lima beans. I'm not sure if they're vining variety or not, but I think there's 3 spots. And the reason I put it on in this row is that if it's vining, then we can put the trellising up. I see that you have all this stuff over there for trellising, so we can do that as the season goes on, but at least that will cover the ground. And then also in terms of your husband going around and digging and putting in the hardware cloth, maybe before that, or another consideration is doing a skirt around like 2 or 3 feet. I'll come out this way, 2 or 3 feet going out, but I don't know if that would be good all around, especially with the irrigation on either side. But for now, I think we can maybe just cut a strip of it and plug the holes. There's 1 hole over there that they're coming in from the, actually 2. Plug those in temporarily until he gets to it, if he wants to do the whole perimeter. And then there's 1 on this side over here. The gopher I got, I wasn't here for 2 days, but the 3rd one was here. And then since I did that drenching method to hopefully have any other gophers come up, nothing came back up to the ground level. But I noticed that the gopher I found was in the tunnel this way, but when I put in the water to flood, there's a hole almost like a V, so there's another hole on that side. So I just stuck the trap, I set it and I stuck it back in. This is the other area where I drenched it completely. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th row in, and I left it open. And I just put a stake here just so that you know that there's something going on. I think that's it. Did do some work on my side here. Now I forget. But yes, go ahead and harvest your onions. I see that you have red ones. And then let me know if you want some of those white ones, because it looks like they're different types. But those should be done probably. The white ones are a little further back behind in developing. If you're in need of a white onion and you want to pluck it from here, if you see anything flowering like this doesn't have such a great shelf life. So you can go ahead and pluck it and use the whole thing at this stage. But yeah, if you feel for white ones, definitely, that's what I was going to do, is just go after these ones first. They're called bolted. In a more technical garden term. So see, this one also bolted. But yes, hopefully this video will reach you because it turned out to be long. Welcome to my channel, Lady Green Thumb 2. This is the second half of this video. It might be a little long, but I wanted to bring you along to see what it looks like on April the 22nd. That first segment was from April 12th, and you can see that a lot of the garden looks different. I'll start with what I just did when I got here, which was drench all these trees. This is an apricot tree, and then grapefruit, fig, and basically I drenched it for 15 minutes to 20 minutes, a little bit more for the fig tree because it's quite big. And I used my watering wand here, and I just left it on so I could do other things. But I did buy mint from a big box store, and I planted it right here. I did harvest some of it to use in tea that I enjoyed, and I saved a bit more to see if I could root it. But everything has just exploded. You can tell that the straw is down, and I have yet to do is put down this easy straw around the plants, and I'll get to why I waited to do that. One of them being that I wanted to get that mint in, and then I did put in squash, 2 different types of squash in this row over here where the onions are, which will come out pretty soon. And the reason I did it was because there's this support over here, and I might put a trellis up for support once the squash grows. But I planted one here. It's the honey winter squash. I got this from the store, so hopefully it comes out true to type. It was very, very good. It was from Frisco that I bought that squash from. So there's one on that end, and then one on this end. And then there's another type of squash that I planted on this side, right over here. 2 on this side. This is the Waltham butternut squash from Botanical Interest. I did start both those squashes, or this one and the one before, in a pot just to ensure that I got germination, and then I transplanted it here. So 2 here, and then 1 on the other end, and the support is here, so I'll do the same and put a trellis up as I go along. Just see what the habit is of the squash, because I've never grown this. I've never had this much space, so I'm so glad that I'm able to garden in this space and share it. So I did check on the traps. It's been about 4 days that the traps have had no gophers trapped. So in a few days I will take those traps out. I think I've gotten all of them, but I'll have to keep an eye on it as time goes on, because I do see that on the outside perimeter here, at least on this one, that there's been some disturbance. That is what I've done so far. I've gotten 2 rows of the easy mulch down. The reason for placing this mulch is that it is smaller, and essentially I'm covering the ground where there should be no exposed soil, so the soil does not bake and the fungi and bacteria are not compromised. So that's the reason for covering the soil, and it also keeps the soil surface moist, and I don't need to water as often. So those are some of the reasons why I'm placing the easy mulch down. I did go around the plants. That's why I did it now, is that they're big enough to mulch around. You can tell this is beetroot. I was being very careful to not cover any of the starts up, and if there were seeds anywhere, I did keep them exposed. but this should really help during the heat of the summer here, and it would keep the plants nice and cozy so that at least the roots nice and cozy and cool. So I'm not sure how far I'm going to get, but I think I'll go ahead and cover whatever I can today. I'll be picking a bolted onion right now and some basil, so I'll take you along for that. I'm going to choose this one since it's the most tall that has bolted. It's probably going to be a small onion at the bottom of it, but it'll give this soybean right here space to grow. So it's going to be a win-win either way. So I'll end up consuming this entire onion from the bulb to all the greens. Let me just clean that up with my foot here. Next up is the basil, which is on the side over here. So the way I'm going to go about harvesting this is, and I've shown this in prior videos, is to harvest below 2 branching leaves. You can tell that it's starting to sprout here, so I can snip it right here. So this will allow branching on both sides. So look at that beautiful top there that I'll enjoy later in other types of foods as a topping. And then same thing here. You can check out my Instagram. I have more recent updates in there, or more frequent, to put it that way, of how I use all my herbs and spices and any vegetables that I do harvest. So this will be the harvest for today. My work here is done. I'm just giving everything a quick drink. I did fertilize some of the starts, and I planted roselle seeds, which is a hibiscus for tea and for drying. It's supposed to be very beneficial. It's an herb. This wraps up the video for today. I'll end my video here with happy gardening.